At the very top of the world lies a land so vast, so wild, and so untouched that it feels like another planet entirely. A land where mountains rise higher than any in the lower 48 states combined. Where glaciers carve their way to the sea with the patience of millennia. Where grizzly bears hunt salmon in rivers that have flowed unchanged for 10,000 years. Where the night sky comes alive with curtains of green and violet light. Where one road can carry you 800 kilometers without passing through a single town. This is Alaska. A territory so massive it would stretch from Florida to California if laid across the lower United States. A wilderness covering 1.7 million square kilometers, yet home to fewer than 735,000 people. A land where bald eagles outnumber humans in some regions. Where caribou herds move in the thousands across tundra older than memory. And where humpback whales hunt cooperatively in coastal waters by the hundreds. For 10,000 years, the indigenous peoples of Alaska, the Inupiaq, the Yupik, the Aleut, the Tlingit and the Athabaskan lived in deep harmony with this brutal and beautiful land. For 10,000 years, they hunted, fished, told stories around fires beneath aurora-lit skies, and built one of the most resilient cultures in human history. Then in 1741, Russian explorers arrived. They came for furs. They left their churches, their language, and their footprints across this frozen frontier. In 1867, the United States purchased Alaska from Russia for just $7.2 million, about 2 cents per acre. Newspapers called it Seward's folly, mocking the Secretary of State who arranged the deal. They could not have been more wrong. Beneath this ice and stone lay gold, then oil. Then the discovery that Alaska contained some of the last truly wild places left on planet Earth. Today, Alaska remains America's final frontier. A land of 100,000 glaciers, over 3 million lakes, 3,000 rivers, 33,000 miles of coastline, more than all the other US states combined. Over 100 active volcanoes, and some of the most spectacular wildlife on the planet, including 30,000 brown bears, 100,000 bald eagles, and migrating populations of whales, caribou, and salmon, that number in the millions. In this cinematic journey, we will travel from the towering peak of Denali to the frozen waters of the Arctic Ocean. From colonial gold rush towns to fjords carved by ancient glaciers. From the green dancing skies of Fairbanks to mountain passes where the snow falls so deep that helicopters drop skiers into untouched powder. Welcome to Hildebrand Lifestyle. Pour yourself a hot drink. This is no ordinary travel film. This is a cinematic odyssey into the most extraordinary wilderness left in America. This is Alaska. Let us begin. Before we journey through Alaska's wonders, let us understand the scale of where we are going. On the map, Alaska appears as a massive land in the far northwest, separated from the rest of the United States by 800 kilometers of Canadian wilderness. To the west, the Bering Strait separates Alaska from Russia by just 88 kilometers. Close enough that on a clear day you can see one country from the other. To the north stretches the Arctic Ocean, frozen for much of the year. To the south, the Pacific Ocean meets countless fjords, islands, and glacier-carved coastlines. The state contains 6 distinct geographic regions, each with its own ecosystems, climates, and cultures. The Arctic North, the interior, the Southwest with its volcanic Aleutian Islands. The South Central region around Anchorage. The Southeastern Side Passage with its temperate rainforests. And the far west Bering Sea coast. Throughout this journey, we will travel across each of these regions, witnessing why Alaska has been called America's last great wilderness. Every location we explore will be marked on our map, allowing you to trace our cinematic path from peak to glacier, from fjord to tundra, from gold rush town to frozen frontier. In the heart of Alaska rises North America's tallest mountain. Denali, meaning the High One in the Athabascan language, stands 6,190 meters above sea level, making it not only the tallest peak on the continent, but, measured from base to summit, taller than even Mount Everest. The mountain creates its own weather system, often hidden in clouds for weeks at a time. Denali National Park spans over 24,500 square kilometers of pristine wilderness, larger than the entire country of Wales. Within its borders roam some of the largest concentrations of wildlife in North America. Grizzly bears fish in mountain streams. Wolves hunt caribou across vast tundra. Dall sheep climb impossible cliffs. Bald eagles soar between the peaks. The famous wildlife caravan is called the Big Five, including grizzly bear, moose, caribou, Dall sheep and wolf, all visible from the park's single 92-mile road. The mountain itself was first summited in 1913 by a team of Alaskans. Though indigenous peoples had revered it for thousands of years before. Today, only about 50% of climbers who attempt the summit succeed. Just outside Juneau, Alaska's capital city, lies one of the most accessible and photographed glaciers in the world. The Mendenhall Glacier flows for 22 kilometers from the massive Juneau icefield, ending in a lake of icy turquoise water studded with floating icebergs. The glacier is famous for its ice caves, surreal blue chambers within the ice that look like portals to another world. Walking through these caves, with brilliant neon blue ice glowing overhead, is one of the most otherworldly experiences in Alaska. The glacier has been retreating dramatically due to climate change, losing more than 3 kilometers in the past 65 years. Each year reveals new landscapes that have been buried beneath ice for thousands of years. The surrounding Tongass National Forest is the largest temperate rainforest in the world. Bears, eagles, and salmon thrive in this landscape where ice meets ancient forest. Mendenhall offers visitors a chance to walk on a living, moving, dying glacier, witnessing climate change in real time. Along the southern coast of Alaska lies one of the most dramatic landscapes in North America. Kenai Fjords National Park covers 2,700 square kilometers of glaciers, mountains, and fjords carved by ice over millennia. The park is dominated by the massive Harding ice field, one of the 4 largest ice fields in the United States. Boat cruises into the park reveal one of nature's most spectacular displays. Massive tidewater glaciers carve directly into the sea, sending house-sized chunks of ice crashing into the ocean with sounds like cannon fire. The water itself glows electric blue from the silty glacial runoff. Harbor seals haul out on floating ice. Sea otters float on their backs, cracking shellfish. Humpback whales and orcas hunt in the cold waters. Puffins nest by the thousands on cliff faces. In the summer, the daylight lasts for nearly 20 hours, allowing for endless exploration of this glacial wonderland. In the remote Katmai National Park lies the most famous bear-watching location in the world. Each summer, the Brooks Falls waterfall becomes the site of an incredible spectacle when massive runs of sockeye salmon attempt to jump up the falls to reach their spawning grounds. Waiting at the top stand the largest brown bears in the world, the Katmai grizzlies. These bears can weigh over 600 kilograms, making them among the largest land carnivores on Earth. They have learned to position themselves perfectly to catch leaping salmon in mid-air, plucking them from the spray in moments of incredible athleticism. From specially built viewing platforms, visitors can watch this prehistoric scene unfold just meters away. A single bear can catch and eat 30 salmon in a single day. building up the fat reserves needed to survive the long Alaskan winter. The Katmai region itself is volcanic, including the Valley of 10,000 Smokes, a moon-like landscape created by one of the largest volcanic eruptions of the 20th century. Deep within Wrangell-St. Elias National Park, the largest national park in the United States, lies a glacier that allows visitors to walk directly on its surface. The Root Glacier flows for 38 kilometers through some of Alaska's most spectacular mountains, surrounded by peaks that reach over 5,000 meters. Putting on crampons and stepping onto the glacier itself is one of Alaska's most extraordinary experiences. The ice beneath your feet is up to 1,000 years old. Brilliant blue meltwater carves channels across the surface, creating natural sculptures and waterfalls flowing into impossibly deep crevasses. The surrounding park is so vast it could hold Switzerland 6 times over. Few rangers patrol it. Few visitors penetrate its depths. It contains some of the largest mountains in North America, the largest non-polar ice fields, and wildlife including grizzlies, wolves, mountain goats, and Dall sheep. Root Glacier represents Alaska at its most pristine, raw, and elemental. In southeastern Alaska lies one of the most spectacular marine sanctuaries on Earth. Glacier Bay National Park covers 13,000 square kilometers and contains some of the most active tidewater glaciers in the world. Just 250 years ago, the entire bay was covered in ice. The rapid retreat of the glaciers has revealed entire landscapes and ecosystems in human memory. Cruise ships glide silently into the bay, dwarfed by walls of ice 60 meters high. The famous Marjorie Glacier carves massive icebergs into the water with thunderous cracks audible for miles. Humpback whales breach in front of the glaciers. Sea lions roar from rocky islands. Orcapods hunt in the channels. The Tlingit people consider this their ancestral homeland, and their stories about the bay's transformation from ice-covered to open water match the geological evidence perfectly. UNESCO recognized Glacier Bay as a World Heritage Site in 1992. It is one of the great natural symphonies of our planet, where ice, water, mountain, and wildlife perform together in extraordinary harmony. Just 2 hours north of Anchorage lies one of the only glaciers in Alaska accessible by car. The Matanuska Glacier stretches 43 kilometers from its source in the Chugach Mountains, ending in a vast valley that you can explore on foot. The glacier is over 40 meters thick in places and is constantly changing, with new ice caves, meltwater rivers, and dramatic blue crevasses appearing each season. Visitors can walk freely on the glacier with guides, exploring this surreal landscape just minutes from the road. The ice forms in incredible patterns, sometimes pristine white, sometimes deep blue, sometimes streaked with dark debris from the mountains it has carved through. The surrounding Matanuska Valley is famous for the largest vegetables ever recorded, including 70-kilogram cabbages and 900-kilogram pumpkins, thanks to Alaska's extreme summer daylight. The Matanuska represents Alaska's wild beauty in a uniquely accessible form. A glacier you can almost touch from your car window. In the southeastern panhandle of Alaska lies a wilderness so dramatic it has been called Alaska's Yosemite. Misty Fjords National Monument covers 9,200 square kilometers of granite cliffs, fjords, and rainforest, accessible only by floatplane or boat. The fjords were carved by ancient glaciers cutting deep into the bedrock, creating sheer walls that rise straight from the ocean. The defining feature is the mist itself. Fog and rain create a perpetual moody atmosphere that gives the fjords their otherworldly beauty. Waterfalls cascade hundreds of meters down cliff faces directly into the sea. Bald eagles nest in the surrounding old-growth forest. Black bears hunt along salmon streams. Killer whales hunt in the channels below. The monument receives less than 0.5% of the visitors that other major national parks receive, leaving it almost completely untouched. Floatplane tours from Ketchikan offer the only practical way to see this hidden wonder. From the air, the scale becomes staggering, mile after mile of vertical green cliffs disappearing into mist. In Kenai Fjords National Park, one glacier offers something extraordinary. The Exit Glacier is one of the only glaciers in Alaska that visitors can hike directly up to without special equipment, allowing you to stand at the edge of moving, retreating ice. The hike to Exit Glacier follows a series of signs marking where the glacier ended in various years. Walking the trail, you literally walk through years of climate change, seeing how dramatically the glacier has retreated. In 1815, the glacier reached far down the valley. Today, you must hike kilometers to reach it. By 2050, scientists predict it may be gone entirely. The Harding Icefield Trail climbs above the glacier, offering breathtaking views of the massive ice field that feeds Exit Glacier and many others. The 13-kilometer hike rewards you with one of the most spectacular vistas in Alaska. a sea of ice stretching to the horizon, with mountain peaks rising above like islands. This glacier offers a profound and sobering experience of witnessing nature in transition. In southeastern Alaska's Tongass National Forest lies one of the most magnificent fjords in North America. Tracy Arm Fjord stretches 50 kilometers into the wilderness, ending at a twin tidewater glaciers that carve constantly into the deep turquoise waters. The fjord is so deep that the walls rise straight up for hundreds of meters from waters thousands of meters deep. Massive waterfalls plunge directly into the sea from melting snow above. The water turns brilliant turquoise from glacial silt, contrasting dramatically with the dark granite cliffs and the white and blue ice. Massive icebergs, some larger than ships, drift through the channel. Seals haul out on the floating ice with their pups. Mountain goats appear as white dots high on the cliffs above. The journey into Tracy Arm requires an entire day by boat from Juneau. But the reward is one of the most spectacular cathedrals of ice and stone on planet Earth. Connecting the small port of Skagway to the wilderness of Yukon runs one of the most spectacular train rides in North America. The White Pass and Yukon Route Railway was built in 1898 during the Klondike Gold Rush to carry prospectors and supplies to the goldfields. It is considered one of the engineering wonders of the world. The narrow gauge railway climbs from sea level to 887 meters in just 32 kilometers. Crossing trestle bridges over impossibly deep canyons, passing through tunnels carved through solid mountains, and following the same trail of 98 used by 100,000 stampeders during the gold rush. The trail of 98 led many to their deaths. Those who survived faced sub-zero temperatures, avalanches, and starvation. Today, vintage train cars carry visitors along the same dramatic route, with stunning views of mountains, waterfalls, glaciers, and the historic Tormented Valley. The journey itself is a moving museum, telling the story of one of the most dramatic chapters in American frontier history. Just south of Anchorage stretches one of the most dramatic coastal landscapes in Alaska. Turnagain Arm is a fjord-like extension of Cook Inlet, famous for some of the largest tidal ranges in North America. Reaching up to 12 meters difference between high and low tide. The defining feature is the boar tide, a phenomenon where the incoming tide creates a wave that travels up the entire arm. The wave can reach 2 meters high and travel 25 kilometers per hour. Surfers and paddleboarders ride this wave for kilometers, an experience unlike anywhere else in the world. The road along Turnagain Arm is itself spectacular. Winding between massive snow-capped mountains and the constantly changing waters. Beluga whales migrate up the arm to feed in summer. White shapes against the grey water. Dall sheep climb the surrounding cliffs. Eagles nest in the mountain forests. This is Alaska at its most cinematic, where nature performs spectacular daily shows. Stretching 200 kilometers from Anchorage to Seward runs one of the most scenic roads in the United States. The Seward Highway has been designated as an all-American road, the highest scenic designation in the country, recognizing its stunning beauty and historical importance. The road winds along Turnagain Arm, passing through landscapes that change dramatically with each mile. Massive glaciers, snow-capped peaks, ancient forests, salmon-filled rivers, and dramatic coastlines all unfold along the route. Wildlife sightings are constant. Moose stand in roadside ponds. Eagles perch on telephone poles. Beluga whales surface in the inlet. Black bears amble through forest clearings. The highway passes by Portage Glacier, the Alyeska Resort, Bird Point and Beluga Point before reaching the spectacular Resurrection Bay at Seward. Many travelers consider this drive to be the most beautiful in America. And after a single journey along its length, you will understand why. In the Talkeetna Mountains, north of Anchorage, rises one of Alaska's hidden gems. Hatcher Pass is an alpine valley that locals treasure for its accessibility and dramatic beauty. Far less visited than the famous parks, but equally spectacular. The valley was the site of intensive gold mining in the early 1900s. The ruins of the Independence Mine, with its weathered red buildings frozen in time, stand as a haunting reminder of the era. In summer, the alpine meadows explode with wildflowers. Glacier-fed streams cascade down impossibly steep mountainsides. Hikers climb to ridges with panoramic views stretching to Denali on clear days. In winter, the pass transforms into a paradise for backcountry skiers and snowshoers, with meters of snow burying the landscape. The road through the pass winds dramatically along steep mountainsides, offering some of Alaska's most photographed scenery in a region most travelers never even know exists. Stretching from the interior to the Arctic Ocean runs one of the most remote and dangerous roads in North America. The Dalton Highway is a 666-kilometer gravel road built in 1974 to service the Trans-Alaska Pipeline. It crosses the Yukon River, the Arctic Circle, and ends at the oil town of Deadhorse on the Arctic coast. Dalton was made famous by the reality TV show Ice Road Truckers. There are only 3 towns along its entire length. Fuel stations are scarce, and the road can be impassable for weeks during winter storms. Yet the scenery is unmatched. The road climbs through the Brooks Range, the northernmost mountain range in the world, crossing tundra that has remained unchanged for thousands of years. Caribou herds in the tens of thousands migrate across the landscape. Musk oxen wander past the road. Grizzlies fish in remote rivers. The northern lights dance overhead in winter. The Trans-Alaska Pipeline runs alongside the road for its entire length. A 4-foot diameter steel snake carrying crude oil 1,300 kilometers to the port of Valdez. Connecting Anchorage to Fairbanks runs one of the most scenic railway routes in the world. The Alaska Railroad has been carrying passengers and freight through Alaska's wilderness since 1923, offering views accessible by no other means of transport. The railway passes through landscapes that change dramatically with each season. In summer, dome cars allow 360-degree views of Denali, glaciers, valleys filled with wildflowers and pristine forests. In winter, the same routes become a snow-covered wonderland, with the trademark blue and yellow trains cutting through fields of pristine white. The route passes by Denali National Park, where many visitors disembark to explore the wilderness. Wildlife sightings are constant. Moose stand by tracks. Bears amble across meadows. Bald eagles soar overhead. The journey takes 12 hours and is considered one of the great train journeys of the world. A slowly unfolding cinematic experience of Alaska's wilderness without the demands of driving. Along the Richardson Highway near Valdez lies one of Alaska's most photographed natural wonders. Keystone Canyon is a dramatic gorge carved by the Low River, where massive waterfalls cascade down vertical rock walls hundreds of meters tall. The 2 main waterfalls, Horsetail Falls and Bridal Veil Falls, plunge directly beside the road, creating perpetual mist that nourishes lush green vegetation on the surrounding cliffs. The canyon was the route of the Valdez Trail, used by gold prospectors heading to the interior in the late 1800s. Visitors hike the same trails the prospectors used. In winter, the waterfalls partially freeze, creating massive icicles that climbers ascend with ice axes and crampons. The contrast between vertical black rock, white falling water, and brilliant green moss creates one of Alaska's most photogenic landscapes. The drive through Keystone Canyon represents Alaska in concentrated form, with nature performing on a massive scale just steps from the road. In the Chugach Mountains lies a place that holds the snowiest records in the United States. Thompson Pass is famous among extreme skiers and snowboarders worldwide as the holy grail of helicopter skiing, where the deepest, lightest powder snow falls on some of the steepest slopes in North America. The pass receives an average of 17 meters of snow per year. The single greatest 24-hour snowfall record in the world was set here in 1955, when 158 centimeters of snow fell in one day. Heli-skiing operations like Valdez Heli-Ski Guides bring skiers up by helicopter to descend untouched slopes thousands of meters long. The terrain includes massive open powder fields, dramatic spines, and steep chutes that have become legendary in extreme sports films. The surrounding Chugach Mountains contain some of the largest non-polar ice fields in the world. Thompson Pass represents Alaska at its most extreme and most thrilling, a winter playground unlike any other on Earth. Stretching 7 kilometers into Kachemak Bay extends one of the most unique geographic features in Alaska. The Homer Spit is a long, narrow finger of land jutting straight into the ocean from the town of Homer, ending at one of the most spectacular small boat harbors in the world. Surrounded by the dramatic Kenai Mountains rising 1,800 meters from the sea, the Homer Spit offers panoramic views in every direction. Fishing charters depart for halibut up to 200 kilograms in size, salmon and rockfish. The famous Salty Dog Saloon, a former cabin from the 1880s, has been a Homer landmark for nearly a century. Eagles by the dozens perch on every available surface during salmon season. Sea otters float in the harbor, cracking shellfish. The Spit was nearly destroyed in the 1964 Good Friday earthquake, the most powerful in North American history, but was rebuilt to remain one of Alaska's most distinctive places. Homer itself has been called the halibut capital of the world and the end of the road. In the historic town of Ketchikan stands one of the most photographed streets in Alaska. Creek Street is a boardwalk built on wooden pilings over the Ketchikan Creek. Lined with colorful historic buildings that once housed Alaska's most famous red light district. The street dates to the early 1900s, when Ketchikan was a booming salmon canning town. Today, the colorful houses on stilts have been preserved as restaurants, shops, and museums. Salmon spawn directly beneath the boardwalks, with bears and seals occasionally appearing in pursuit during fish runs. The town of Ketchikan is famous for having the world's largest collection of standing totem poles, including the Saxman Totem Park and the Totem Heritage Center, preserving the rich heritage of the Tlingit, Haida and Tsimshian peoples. Ketchikan receives the most rain of any city in the United States, with an average of 380 centimeters per year. The town calls itself the rain capital of Alaska, a moniker worn with pride. At the southern end of the Seward Highway lies one of Alaska's most picturesque ports. Seward Harbor is famous for its setting, surrounded by snow-capped mountains that rise directly from the deep turquoise waters of Resurrection Bay. The harbor serves as the launch point for adventures into Kenai Fjords National Park. Boats depart daily for glacier and wildlife tours. The annual Mount Marathon race, run on July 4th every year since 1915, is one of the oldest and most extreme races in America, where competitors run straight up and down a 920-meter mountain in about 45 minutes. The town of Seward itself is small and charming, with historic buildings, fresh seafood restaurants, and the impressive Alaska Sea Life Center, the only public aquarium and rehabilitation facility in Alaska. The combination of mountains, sea, glaciers, and wildlife makes Seward one of the most photogenic destinations in the entire state. On Baranof Island in southeast Alaska sits one of the most historically significant towns in the state. Sitka served as the capital of Russian America for almost a century before the United States purchased Alaska in 1867. The town remains the only place in America where Russian colonial heritage is visibly preserved. St. Michael's Cathedral, a stunning Russian Orthodox church with its distinctive onion dome, dominates the town center. Built in 1844, it was the first Orthodox cathedral in North America. Inside, priceless icons brought from Russia are displayed. Sitka is dramatically situated with the perfect cone of Mount Edgecumbe, a dormant volcano rising 975 meters from the sea just across the channel. The surrounding waters teem with wildlife. Humpback whales feed in the bays. Sea otters float in the harbors. Eagles perch on every available surface. Sitka National Historical Park preserves Russian and Tlingit history together, with one of the finest collections of totem poles in the world. At the northern end of the Inside Passage sits one of the most perfectly preserved gold rush towns in America. Skagway exploded from a town of 800 people to over 10,000 within months in 1898 as the gateway to the Klondike Gold Rush. Today, the historic district has been preserved exactly as it appeared during that frenzied era. Walking the wooden boardwalks of Broadway Street is like stepping into 1898. Original wooden storefronts house museums, restaurants, and shops. The Red Onion Saloon, a former brothel, serves drinks in its original wooden bar. Period-dressed actors perform historical reenactments. The famous bad guy of the Gold Rush, Jefferson Soapy Smith, ran his criminal empire from here before being killed in a gunfight. Today, the town serves as the launching point for the famous White Pass and Yukon Route Railway. Surrounded by 2,000-meter mountains plunging straight into the sea, Skagway represents American frontier history at its most authentic and dramatic. In a hidden fjord east of Anchorage lies one of the strangest small towns in America. Whittier is accessible only through a 4-kilometer, one-lane tunnel through a mountain. The 270 residents of Whittier nearly all live in a single 14-story building. The Baggage Towers, which contains the post office, police station, school, grocery store, and clinic all under one roof. The setting is extraordinary. The town sits at the head of a deep fjord, surrounded by mountains that rise 1,200 meters straight from the sea. Massive waterfalls cascade down the cliffs throughout the rainy summers. The town serves as a key port for cruise ships and the gateway to Prince William Sound, one of the most pristine wilderness areas in Alaska. The fjord contains incredible marine wildlife, including sea otters, harbor seals, orcas, and humpback whales. Glacier tours depart from Whittier into the Sound's incredible network of fjords. The town's strange architecture and dramatic setting make it one of the most unique communities in Alaska. At the head of Prince William Sound sits one of Alaska's most beautiful port towns. Valdez, often called the Little Switzerland of Alaska, is surrounded by some of the most dramatic mountain scenery in North America. The town is the southern terminus of the Trans-Alaska Pipeline and a major port for the state's oil industry. The dramatic setting is the defining feature. Massive snow-capped peaks rise 2,000 meters directly from the ocean, with glaciers visible from town and the harbor. The Valdez Glacier and Worthington Glacier are both easily accessible. The town receives an average of 8 meters of snow per year, making it one of the snowiest places in America. Wildlife viewing here is exceptional. Tour boats take visitors into Prince William Sound, where massive populations of marine mammals and birds thrive. The 1989 Exxon Valdez oil spill devastated parts of the Sound. But the recovery has been remarkable, demonstrating nature's resilience. A small town of just 1,000 residents has become one of Alaska's most famous destinations. Talkeetna sits at the base of Denali, serving as the staging point for climbers attempting to summit North America's tallest mountain. The town has maintained its frontier character with log cabins, gravel roads, and an unmistakable bohemian charm. The historic district, with its early 1900s buildings, has remained nearly unchanged. The famous Roadhouse, established in 1917, still serves enormous family-style breakfasts. The Fairview Inn has served beers to climbers and adventurers for over a century. The town elected a cat as mayor for 20 years, demonstrating its quirky character. From Talkeetna, small planes fly climbers to the Kahiltna Glacier at 2,200 meters, the starting point for the Denali summit attempt. The famous Three Rivers Lookout offers spectacular views of the Susitna, Talkeetna, and Chulitna rivers converging. Talkeetna represents Alaska's frontier spirit at its most authentic. From the highest peak in North America to the frozen edge of the Arctic Ocean. From glaciers carving into turquoise seas to mountain passes buried in 17 meters of snow. From ghost towns of the gold rush to indigenous villages where ancient traditions still guide daily life. From the dancing aurora of Fairbanks to the bear-filled rivers of Brooks Falls. This is Alaska, America's last frontier. The wildest, most remote, and most spectacular state in the Union. We have traveled together through 35 of Alaska's most extraordinary places. We have witnessed mountains that pierce the clouds, glaciers that flow like rivers of ice, wildlife thriving in numbers found nowhere else in America, and landscapes that stretch beyond human comprehension. But Alaska holds far more than what we have seen. Beyond these wonders lie countless more. Hidden fjords where no human has ever set foot. Mountain ranges that have never been climbed. Rivers that flow for hundreds of kilometers without crossing a single road. Cultures whose stories have been told around fires for thousands of years. Alaska teaches us something the modern world has nearly forgotten. That vast, untouched wilderness still exists. That nature on its own terms remains breathtaking and humbling beyond words. That some places are worth protecting, not because they are useful, but because they are sacred. If this cinematic journey moved you, subscribe to Hildebrand Lifestyle for more breathtaking explorations of our extraordinary world. Share this with someone who dreams of true wilderness. And tell us in the comments which corner of Alaska calls to your heart most strongly. The summit of Denali, the aurora of Fairbanks, the bears of Brooks Falls, the gold rush streets of Skagway. Until our next journey, live with wonder, travel with respect. And remember that America's last frontier is still waiting to be discovered. Welcome to Alaska. Welcome to the wild.